Hi friends, welcome to my not sewing video. I knew you were there. You knew I knew you were there because we're friends. Got that? So, I have to admit something to you since we're friends, and I'm always honest with friends. Well, I try to be honest with everyone, but I'm always honest with friends. I bought a ring light. I'm sorry. I know I said I wasn't going to do that. But when I watched my last two videos, I was like, oh, there's shadows all over my face. And there might still be shadows on my face. I can't tell because the ring light is basically making me go blind. I don't know how people do this. All I can see is a circle, and while I close my eyes, all I can see is a green circle. So maybe there's less shadows. I don't know. It also might be too far away. This is an experiment. We shall see. But I bought a ring light, and I'll have to tell you, the thing I like the most about the ring light is the stand part, because it's got this little thing that holds your phone in the middle of it. And so you don't have to prop it up in the cleavage of your dress form. Guess what? That's the word I couldn't remember last week. Dress form. Yeah, like the word that every seamstress costumer uses constantly. A dress form. This is why I'm a sucky seamstress. Anyway, I love that it's got this little stand. You can tweak it and stuff. I had some trouble adjusting it and getting the tilt right and stuff. So as I'm looking at it right now, I can see that I am off center and it's tipped this way a little bit. But it is very precarious right now and might actually fall over during this video. So I promise to do better. In the meantime, you can either A, just listen to this video instead of watching, or B, watch this video like this. And then I will appear to be somewhat more upright, straightforward. You know what I'm saying, because we're friends. We, friend brain things. Friend brain things. Okay, so today's tea is, what is today? Oh, of course, I can tell what today's tea is. It is Sweet and Spicy Tea by Good Earth. Now you can find this tea, Americans, you can find this tea in pretty much most grocery stores, in the coffee and the hot chocolate and tea aisle. It's an herbal tea. It smells amazing. Like, it smells amazing. I mean, I don't remember what all is in it, but it's like cinnamon and I think cloves, and it's so good. And it is so good, and it's got just the right combination of sweet and spicy that I don't add anything to it. I don't add sugar, I don't add honey, I don't add anything to sweeten it, because I love it just the way it is. Now, when I present it to friends for the first time, I like my tea really strong. I think we've been over this, but I'm going to keep reiterating this. I like my tea very strong. So when I present it to my friends for their first time trying it, I usually put a little honey in it to kind of cut the strength of the taste for them with a little extra sweetness. And I would recommend honey. Preferably local honey, because I'm a big advocate for using local honey in all of your honey needs, because it helps with your allergies. I did not know about this until I moved here to Washington. And I don't remember who it was, but someone recommended that to me. And I haven't had allergy issues since I moved here. Whoa, it's been almost 3 years. That went by really fast. Probably because I spent 2 of them in indoors. Well, actually 3 of them, but 2 of them like quarantining indoors. So, sweet and spicy tea. It's amazing. And of course, it's in my monster teacup that was given to me by a coworker named Corinne ages ago. Because we had a conversation about tea one day and how much I love tea parties and dressing up and whatnot. And she asked me about tea because she had not a tea drinker and what I like about it. And I told her, you know, yeah, I'll drink tea from a mug. Yeah, I know it's more of an American thing, but I'll drink tea from a mug. But there is something about drinking tea from a teacup that just adds to the experience. But teacups tend to be so small, and I tend to like a lot of tea that I can sip over a period of time. And for Christmas that year, she gifted me this mug-sized teacup, which is one of my favorite mugs / teacups. And you will see more because I have many more, but you'll mostly see this one because it is my favorite. So it is time to address the elephant in the room. I know, I can hear you from here. Where is the 1890 cycling sweater that I was supposed to have done like a week ago? Nay, a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. Well, the 1890 cycling sweater is in timeout. If you are a seamstress, you know what I'm talking about. And if you are not, you will learn this, that sometimes your projects hit a snag or start to frustrate you, or something isn't clicking or isn't working right, and you get so frustrated and you're so anxious to move on to some new project that you're excited about that it needs to go on timeout. You need to put it aside, put it away until you can calm down about it and come back with fresh eyes. So it is in timeout because I hit a little snag trying to attach the sleeves because I have never worked with knit sweater type fabric before, and it was a nightmare. So I ended up crying on the floor. My handsome hubby came home and was like, what happened? You know, always think, every time he comes across me like that, he's always like, what happened? Thinking something big, huge problem has happened. And it's always, oh, my project isn't working out, or I don't have enough money for silk that I really want. And he's so sweet. He always comforts me and acts like he understands why these things are really hard for me. Like last night I was in the middle of doing my homework and I insisted that he come talk to me about how hard it is that I don't have big trips to look forward to. And that as an adult, I think that's what really gets motivates us. At least for me and a lot of friends that I've talked to, that's a real motivating factor in our lives, because the majority of us have jobs that are not our dream jobs. But that's okay. There is a quote from my mother, and if you want to use it, please make sure to state that Emily's mother said this. She said, "We can't all be ballerinas and football players because someone has to take out the trash." She said that to me when I was, I don't remember, I was really little. And I was, well, not really little, but I think I was in junior high or something. I have no concept of time, by the way. You will learn this the longer if you stick around. But we're friends, so you will. This is back when I had my huge dreams of being an opera singer, which, I still do, but is less and less likely to happen every year. And so, what was I talking about? I told you, I'm not going to edit. Oh, okay. So I told him that, so when we have these jobs that are like, ugh, and stress us out, and or we're adults going to school and homework is the bane of our existence, it's these trips that we can look forward to. And I don't have a lot of them. I haven't had a lot of them. There have been hardly any since, COVID hit. And I think that's so hard on so many of us, because those big trips, I mean, those were, oh, life-saving for us. There was one in particular that was going to happen for me that if I start talking about, I will cry. But we're friends, so maybe you don't mind if I start crying. I will be brief. I was going to go to Europe for my first time. I have wanted to go to Europe since I was very, very little. I found a picture of Queen Elizabeth I, a painting of her, in a magazine when I was 5 years old, in the doctor's office, and ripped it out and kept it with me. It was my most prized possession, this little folded up painting of Queen Elizabeth, because I thought she was like a fairy princess and the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I grew up basically wanting to be Queen Elizabeth, and I was her for 9 years. And I need to go to England. Like, I need to go to England, you guys. And so finally the opportunity came. One of my closest friends was going to get married, and she was going to have a destination wedding in Ireland. And it was going to be perfect. We were going to do Scotland, Ireland, England, and France. Scotland, because that is where the majority of my husband's ancestors are from on both sides of the family. So he is like 90% Scottish. And Ireland, because that's where half of my heritage is from. England, because I have to go to England. And then France, because I need to see the Paris Opera House. That's a whole other story. The Louvre, and Versailles, and all the, but most of all, because the only way to get my husband to agree to all of this trip, where he knows that he will be dragged to historical spot after historical spot after historical spot, is that we will end in Disney Paris, Disneyland Paris. And so that was like thrown into the trip just for him. Now, I want to go there too, but it's not the reason for the trip for me, but it is for him. So that got pushed back a year when COVID hit. And then last year, the wedding actually got called off. It's very sad, but they're both okay. They're just not together anymore. And I was like, that was going to be my one chance. And my husband's like, no, we'll go on our own. Now my husband lost his job, and then all this stuff happened. So who knows? I may never make it. And you guys, if I ever make it to England, you are going to see video after video of me like kissing the ground, and people going, do you know there's like a worldwide pandemic and grossness, and I don't care. Kissing the ground, hugging the trees. Heck, I will be hugging the strangers if they'll let me. Okay, we are done with this. Next item of video-ness. I don't know what to call these videos, by the way. My current title is not sewing videos. Because first of all, I haven't been doing any sewing in them. And second of all, I don't really teach any sewing anything because I don't feel qualified. but I really like talking to people about me and my projects. And whoa, what just happened? My phone cut off. What just happened? What just... Or it zoomed in. Zoom not supported for this mode. My phone just zoomed in. It's still recording and I don't know what happened. I'm going to keep going, guys. Sorry for the super duper close-up of me, but as I have said before, I'm not editing. Okay. So, because I'm dropping the 1890s sweater for now, I am picking up a new project. Now, projects are done around my horrendous homework schedule, but I still am hoping that I can get work done every week. Last week I showed you this fabric, this beautiful, beautiful fabric that I have. It's heavy because it is super wide and super long. I still need to measure it out, but there is a lot of it, like a lot of it. But if you look at it, it's not super thick. I would say at the most a medium weight and more of like a light medium, this brocade. And it's reverse the colors on each side, but I've decided that I prefer this side best. And I want to use this monstrosity of an amount of fabric to make one of the giant mantua court gowns of the 1740s. Now, if you follow my Instagram, and you of course do because we're friends, you've seen the pictures from my deep dives online of these magnificent court gowns. I would insert photos like here, but I don't know how to do that. So go to my Instagram or go to Google. What is that? That awesome line from Ever After, one of my favorite Cinderella movies. I'm going to paraphrase one of the words. You have two hands. Do it yourself. She says make it yourself. She's talking about breakfast. It's amazing. I love that movie. Back when it came out, people said I looked like her. I always wanted to cosplay it. Maybe someday. Okay, so these giant court gowns. You know, they had the classic 18th century look, but the skirts, the panniers for the skirts, I mean, they were gigantic. And what I could see from the extant examples is that there were two looks in the majority of the extant examples that we have, where the panniers are huge, go out, and just slope right down, straight down to the ground. So it's almost like a square from the waist out and then down. Or it goes out from the waist, slopes slightly to an edge, and then kind of slopes down from there to the ground. I think I might do kind of a more slopey style, because I think the boxy ones look kind of ridiculous. I mean, they're all kind of ridiculous in how huge they are, but the boxy ones, I don't find that they're as attractive to me. Or I think the slopey ones are a little more attractive. Excuse me. Yes, I sneezed and I did not edit it. Okay. So I kind of want to make one of these ridiculously huge gowns. Why, when I have so many other things on my sewing list for actual outings and events? I don't know. I can't tell you. I just want to do it. I just want to make this big, humongous dress and then find somewhere to go romp around in. So let's talk patterns a little bit. The patterns that I have on hand are J.P. Ryan, where if you are going to sew for the 18th century, J.P. Ryan is, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many others, which is where I got my opinion from, basically the most historical out there that you can find, and just really great patterns. The current ones that I have is this one, which is the 18th century Krakow, I believe is how it's pronounced, with sleeve flounces, petticoat, and handkerchief. And I don't know if you can see this at all. I apologize if you cannot. Sorry, I keep looking at my screen to see if there's a glare. I think I got it where there's no glare. But it shows that it's a short top with the skirt. I really want to make one of these, but I don't think this is right for the mantua court gown. One thing I've noticed about most of the extents is that the top, the bodice of it, goes to the waist, and that's it. Now, a few of them do have the drape in the back for the robe à la Francaise, the sackback gowns, but the majority of them do not. They just have the basic bodice design and then the skirt. Now, the bodice will have some flounces on it and maybe some flounces in the front, and the sleeves will have the flouncing and maybe some lace and decorative effects. But the majority of the skirts do not. I'm not sure why they don't, but most of the skirts in these mantua, delivery. It's okay. I'll get it in a minute. Court gowns they were plain. They didn't have ruffles and lace and the wavy little designs, and they weren't designed with like the overskirt and then where it parts in the center and there's the underskirt you can see with a bunch of extra ruffles and embellishments on it. Just checking. I can kind of see people walk by. I'm not going to go get it. I'm making a video, guys. We're friends. I wouldn't do that to you. No, I'm not going to do it. So anyways, but the fabrics that these dresses were made out of are some of the most beautiful fabrics you will ever see. You will ever see. I mean, they are embroidered confections, just silk and brocades and jacquards, I think is how, I don't know how to pronounce things, guys. I've said them in my head for years, but I haven't said them out loud to people. But beautiful, just stunning. So I think that these gowns, that the skirts were kept simple to show off the rich fabrics. And maybe, I'm not 100% sure about this. This is just coming from my brain pan. Maybe these humongous court skirts were made in these gigantic sizes so that more of this fabric could be shown off. More of this gorgeous, rich fabric could be shown off. I'm not really sure. I do obviously wonder how they got around, and then I had the thought that maybe they didn't really get around. Maybe the dress was like set up somewhere for them to get into, and then they just stayed there the whole time. Maybe they didn't walk around in them. I'm not sure we'll ever know. Pardon. So I do have the sackback gown pattern from J.P. Ryan with some options, but I'm not sure that I want to make that type either for this gown. Maybe, but I'm not sure, because this is what I do, guys. This is what I do. I am one of those people where when I want to try something new, I don't pick the easiest, simplest project to go with. I jump in head first with the biggest, most ridiculous thing. So I've never made one of these before, and now I'm going to make a giant gown. This is kind of like my experience with getting into playing Queen Elizabeth I at Renaissance fairs. Way back in 2008, I think it was, I went to a Renaissance fair locally where I was living, and I hadn't been to that fair before. I was so excited, and I was walking around looking for Queen Elizabeth, because Queen Elizabeth at Ren fairs is just like my dream. Couldn't wait to see her. They had a queen of the fair, but she was very like fantasy meets history looking, and did not look like Queen Elizabeth I. And I was heartbroken. So I asked one of the people who worked there, said, you know, hey, Queen Elizabeth I, any reason you don't have one walking around or whatnot? And she's like, well, make an outfit and show up next year and we'll see how you do. And I was like, what? Me? I couldn't do that. And I did. I spent a year making an Elizabethan court gown. And I never made Elizabethan clothes before, ever in my life. And I spent a year beading a dress, hand sewing beads on, making jewelry. Never made jewelry before. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I trial and errored that thing for a year, and then I showed up, and they were like, you are gonna be our Queen Elizabeth. And I was like, yay, that's amazing. I will do it. So what I think may be the most useful, I don't know, are these simplicity patterns, which I'm sure we're all familiar with because we all follow Abby Cox. If you don't follow Abby Cox, well, we're friends. So, of course you follow Abby Cox because she's amazing and hilarious and knowledgeable and gorgeous and awesome. Anyway, these were put out by American Duchess back when Abby Cox was working with them. And she was modeled this gown for the simplicity patterns. And it's amazing. What's also awesome is since simplicity requires patterns to be simplistic to a certain extent, you can find instructions through the American Duchess site on how to better make this pattern more historically accurate. Some kind of updates you can do. I believe it's through the American Duchess blog. Not 100% sure on that. I will look it up and I will add it to the description of this video after I post it. When I post it at some point in time. Because I can't do that, look below, or it's right here, or blah, blah, because I don't know how to do that. So, I think this one might be useful. But in my experience with the Elizabethan, because at the time there weren't a lot of patterns available to me or that I knew of, I kind of had to take some mainstream patterns and then go off paintings and portraits and look at work that other people had done and kind of fudge my own. So I'm thinking that's probably what I'm going to have to do for this as well. One thing I have decided not to do, and those of you who are historical costumers may be like, oh, Emily, how dare you? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to disappoint you, friends. But I've decided that I'm going to kind of Frankenstein a purchased farthingale hoop skirt type and make a concoction to create the super huge panniers because other than making this one court dress, I don't think I'm going to be wearing 18th century gowns of this magnitude or making them in the future. I just really want to make. So my camera shut off and I don't know why. I'm not 100% sure where it shut off at. I was talking about how I'm going to Frankenstein the underneath section, the pannier section for this mantua gown, court gown, because this is the only one I plan on making. In the future, I plan on making the more standard sizes for me, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to put all that effort into making the undergarments for, well, the undergarment panniers for it, when this is the only outfit they will ever be used for. So I hope you can understand. Almost done. One last thing I wanted to talk about. If you follow Isabel Pitcher online, then you'll know that her newest book, with the Victorian dressmaking companion books, just recently started being delivered for those who pre-ordered, and I got mine, and I am so excited, you guys. I'm so excited. It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, oh my gosh, I want to start making all the things right away, even though I'm absolutely terrified. It's hats, caps, and bonnets. It's just the most gorgeous book. It's got detailed explanations. It's got the most stunning pictures. And it's just the perfect companion, really, to her, the Victorian Dressmaker and Victorian Dressmaker Volume 2 books, which if you don't have, you absolutely should have. You can get them on her website. Prior Attire is what she goes by. So if you look up Prior Attire, you should be able to find her website and you can order those books. Also, you should be following her really on everything, because she's stunning and amazing and so talented and just needs to be my friend. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I don't even remember everything I talked about, but next week I should have some portion of a gigantic gown to show you. I'm probably going to start with the bodice, so that may not be that exciting, but I will have some portion of that to show you next week, and hopefully some of the guts of the gigantic skirt, so that we can laugh at me and this project that I have decided to do together. So I'm going to go get the package off my porch and say goodbye, and that I love you all, and I wish I could give you hugs, and I will see you next week. Bye, friends!